They promised her a private villa with an infinity pool. They promised her a professional production team. They promised her the vacation of a lifetime that would double her subscriber count and secure her financial freedom. But they forgot to mention one small, devastating detail: the local criminal code. Last week, the internet watched in shock as a group of top creators was detained in Bali, Indonesia. Their passports were confiscated, their phones were seized, and their futures are now entirely uncertain. The headlines you see on X and TikTok are calling them disrespectful tourists or ignorant influencers, but the superior reality is a story of calculated corporate negligence. These creators weren't just on holiday, they were on a work trip, organized, funded, and directed by agencies that view talent as disposable assets. We are looking at a business model that relies on smuggling digital contraband across borders, leaving young women to face the consequences while the managers watch from safety. In this video, we are peeling back the curtain on the content house industry to answer 3 questions the managers are desperate to bury. 1. Who actually pays for these 6-figure influencer vacations and what is the hidden cost? 2. Why do agencies explicitly push creators into legally dangerous jurisdictions like Bali and Dubai? And 3. When the police knock on the door and the cameras stop rolling, who is left holding the bag? I have the receipts, the leaked travel waivers, the risk indemnity clauses, and the terrified text messages from stranded creators begging their managers for bail money. By the end of this video, you will understand why that dream vacation is actually a prison sentence waiting to happen. Body point 2. The sponsored trip scam. The setup. To understand how a creator ends up in a foreign prison cell, we have to look at the invitation. It usually slides into the DMs of a mid-tier creator, someone with maybe top 2% earnings, hungry to break into the top 0.1%. The message comes from a talent manager or a collab network. It says, "We are hosting an exclusive Collab House in Bali. Flight, villa, and private chef covered. You just bring the content." Expectation: a free luxury vacation where you sip coconuts and take a few photos with friends. Reality: an unregulated labor camp operating on a debt trap model. According to collab contracts reviewed from similar ventures in late 2024 and 2025, these trips are almost never gifts. They're high-interest loans. The agency fronts the cost, let's say $20,000 per head for the villa, the flights, and the lifestyle props like rented Lamborghinis, but the contract contains a specific section often labeled recoupable expenses. This is exactly how the music industry exploited artists in the 90s, but adapted for the adult creator economy. The creator does not see a dime of profit from the content they film in that house until the agency has recouped the $20,000 plus a 20% management fee. And here's the trap. The contract stipulates a content quota. A standard quota might demand 50 edited videos, 500 photos, and daily live streams across a 7-day trip. That is not a vacation. That is a 12-hour workday every single day in tropical heat. If the creator misses the quota because they're sick, tired, or burnt out, they're liable for the entire cost of the trip. Immediately, they're told they'll be sued for breach of contract if they don't perform. This creates a pressure cooker environment. The creators aren't relaxing, they're frantic, they're sleep deprived. And because the algorithm rewards novelty, the managers push them to go bigger, louder, and riskier to ensure the content sells enough to pay back the debt. This pressure is exactly what leads to the arrests. In December 2025, authorities in Bali raided a luxury villa in the Canggu district, detaining several foreign creators. The charge? Violating local laws regarding public decency and electronic information. Here's the receipt, a standard liability waiver found in many agency travel contracts. It explicitly states, the talent assumes full responsibility for compliance with all local laws, customs, and regulations. The agency provides no legal counsel and assumes no liability for criminal prosecution. Translation: the agency knows what they're asking you to do is illegal. They want the footage because exotic locations sell subscriptions. But if you get caught, you're on your own. In the recent Bali case, reports indicate that the creators were filming suggestive content inside a private villa with glass walls, visible from the outside. In Los Angeles or Miami, this might get a noise complaint. In Indonesia, under the strict pornography law and the Electronic Information and Transactions Law, this is a serious crime. The definition of pornography in these jurisdictions is extremely broad and can include any action deemed to violate moral norms. The prison sentence can be up to 12 years. The agency managers know this. In fact, insiders claim they bank on it. They choose these locations for the aesthetic. A video filmed in a generic apartment in Ohio gets 10,000 views. The same video filmed in a jungle villa in Bali gets 1 million views. The risk premium is huge. The agency is engaging in arbitrage. They're trading the creator's physical freedom for a better background. When the raid happened, the reality set in. We have seen leaked audio from a similar incident in Dubai last year. You can hear the panic. The police demand passports. The creators call their managers, and the managers, they don't pick up. Insider reports from the Bali incident claim the handlers, the agency staff on the ground, were the first to flee the villa, leaving the talent to face the police alone. They know that if they're caught organizing the shoot, the charges are far worse. Body point 3. The bailout. The economics. So you're sitting in a holding cell in Denpasar. You have no phone, no passport, and you don't speak the language. You finally get a call through to your agency. Surely the company taking 50% of your earnings will hire the best lawyer in the country, right? Expectation, the family protects its own. Reality, the burner protocol and the crisis fee. We have seen a disturbing pattern in these scandals. When a legal line is crossed, the agency often initiates a distance protocol. First, they scrub the creator from their website, they delete the collab posts on the agency's main page, they issue a statement claiming the creator was on a personal vacation and was not representing the company. Why do they do this? Because if the agency admits they organized the illegal shoot, they could be charged with human trafficking or facilitating vice, which would freeze their corporate bank accounts and seize their assets globally. So to save the business, they sacrifice the individual. If they do decide to help, it comes with a heavy price tag. According to sources familiar with agency crisis management, they'll hire a lawyer, but they bill the creator for it at a markup. They add these legal fees to their debt balance. This means even if the creator escapes jail and flies home, they are now indentured to the agency for years. They have to work off a $50,000 legal bill plus the cost of the failed trip. They are effectively slaves to the contract until the debt is paid. In the Bali case, rumors are circulating that some creators had to crowdfund their own legal defense or rely on their families back home wiring emergency funds. The millions of dollars generated by their content over the last year, that money was tied up in processing or unavailable due to the active investigation. Body point 4. The aftermath. The career death. Eventually, they might get deported. They pay a fine, they get a black stamp in their passport, and they fly home. But the nightmare isn't over. This being deported isn't just a travel inconvenience. It lands you on a high-risk list for global payment processors. The Blue Site and other fan platforms are terrified of regulatory fines from Visa and MasterCard. If a creator is flagged as a legal liability who violates international laws, the platform often shadow bans or permanently terminate their account to protect themselves. We have seen this happen with creators who were kicked out of Dubai. They return to the US, try to log into their account to make money, and find it suspended. So the creator returns home broke, traumatized, facing a massive debt to their agency, and banned from the very platform they depend on. Meanwhile, what's the agency doing? They're already scouting the next group of 19-year-olds for a trip to Thailand or Costa Rica. New faces, same villa, same trap. They view the arrested creators as burnt assets, depreciated machinery that is no longer useful. Body point 5. The psychological toll. The silence. You might wonder, why don't these creators speak out? Why don't they sue? The answer lies in the non-disclosure agreements. Almost every agency contract includes a strict NDA with a disparagement clause. If the creator speaks publicly about the arrest, the working conditions, or the agency's negligence, they can be sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They are silenced by fear. They are ashamed of the arrest and they're terrified terrified of being sued into bankruptcy. This silence is what allows the cycle to continue. The new girls don't know what happened to the old girls. They just see the glamorous photos on Instagram, photos that were taken moments before the police arrived. The industry sells a lifestyle of ultimate freedom. Travel the world, be your own boss, live in paradise. But the reality is that many of these creators are essentially smuggling digital contraband across borders from managers who take zero risk. They're risking their freedom for a backdrop. If you see a creator in a Collab House next week, don't envy the view. Ask yourself, does she actually have her passport, or is it locked in the manager's safe for safekeeping? The exploitation doesn't stop at the border. In fact, it's about to get a lot more personal. We talked about fake locations today, but what happens when the person is fake?
Agencies are now using AI to clone creators so they don't even need to travel or pay them. It's called the Digital Twin Clause, and you might have already signed it without knowing. Click the Velvet Rope Industry Secrets playlist on your screen right now to see if your favorite creator is actually real or just a render owned by a corporation. I'll see you there.